just our name and the club name. So I'll start. Taka Ogata from Lafayette Club. I'll go on my screen. So Sharon, would you go next?
Sure. Sharon Candidate, the Kiwanis Club of Fishers and the Kiwanis Club of Geist. And I will be serving as Taka's membership chair next year.
Martin?
Martin Furnish, I'm currently governor, but we're going to yield to a much better governor in about 10 weeks. And I'm with the Cicero Club and the 25 plus Kiwanians Who Care Club.
Tammy?
I'm Terry Flick. I'm with the Huntingburg Kiwanis Club.
Tammy?
I'm Tammy Miner, and I'm the district secretary for the Indiana district.
Al?
Al Riggle. I'm with Scottsburg Kiwanis Club.
Okay. Don?
I am Don Ogle, incoming president of Goshen Noon Kiwanis.
I don't see the name. Maple City Kiwanis?
I'm Janet Butchiconi. I'm filling in right for the minute till my husband Dana gets back from his other meeting, but he will be the incoming. I'm current president of Goshen Maple City, and he'll be the incoming. Thank you, Taka.
Thank you. Anna?
I'm Anna, and I'm from the Valpo Noon Club, incoming president.
Susan?
Susan White, I'm with Bremen.
Can't really see the name. Let's see. Janet?
Janet Anthony from Lakeland Kiwanis, the incoming president.
Alfonso?
I'm Alfonso Mans, commonly known as Al. I'm the incoming president of the Bloomington Club, which we have 2 clubs in Bloomington. I can't think of the name of the second one though.
All right. Christina? Christina?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself there. I'm Christina Esslinger with the Kiwanis Club of Carmel, and I'm the incoming president.
Super. Ted?
Hello, my name is Ted Siddle, and I'm the current president of North Indianapolis Club. And I have with me my wife, the secretary.
Super. Greg?
My name is Greg Rieger. I'm incoming president down in New Albany, Indiana.
Tyreen?
My name's Taryn. I'm the current president of the Danville Club and the incoming president of the Danville Club.
Steve?
Steve Babinski. I'm actually the outgoing president of Valparaiso Noon. Just signed in to be nosy and see what you guys were talking about.
Stacy?
Hi, my name is Stacy Wheeler. I'm the current president of the Muncie Club, and our incoming president is Paul Zedeker.
All right. Thank you. All right, so I guess we have 17 on here, so that's great. Tammy, could you start the presentation? Hi, Matt. Want to introduce yourself?
Matt Wilson. I will be the president of the Lebanon Club.
Okay. Have you? Right, next page. So basically, Martin is current governor. I'm the governor-elect / district membership coordinator for this year. And next year, Sharon will be the district membership coordinator. And the district secretary is Tammy. Go ahead. So Indiana district has 24 divisions, and each division has one lieutenant governor. If you want to see the map, you can go to this web URL and you can see which division is, how it is called and everything. Go ahead. So each lieutenant governor is there to support your club by visiting and communicating. And they will host a division council meeting. And this is where all the clubs in the division get together and learn about what each other is doing. And also if there's any problem or any idea that you want to share, that's where we can come up with a group idea. And also Lieutenant Governor will be visiting you, communicating with you to inform about district and international events or initiatives. They can also bring you application or marketing materials such as application form or leadership workbook. And if you need any other items, you can ask them and we'll try to get it to you. Sharon?
I'm going to talk about the Kiwanis Indiana Foundation. Obviously, it's part of the Indiana District of Kiwanis, and it provides financial support to our clubs for projects, both locally and district-wide. And I'm going to talk about the three main resources that the Indiana District Foundation has. The first one is the scholarship program. That goes to a graduating high school student in Indiana who will be attending an Indiana school. Those are two of the main things that you need to remember. It probably would be a good idea for each of the clubs to have a scholarship committee or a key scholarship person on board to review any applications that you might get for this scholarship, because you might get more than one from a school. So as an example, Fishers High School, we had 2 this last year, and we had to sit down as a committee to decide, and your board could do this as well, to decide which one we were going to send forward, because you can only send one forward from each school. The instructions and application are online, but the actual application and any attachments to it, and there are some, must be done in hard copy. It cannot be sent by email or through technology. It has to be actually snail mailed in a hard copy to the district office. And all this information is actually online. I'm just trying to give you the main points. Let's see, there is a deadline and it will state what it is. Usually it is in March of the year.
Go back.
I'm sorry?
Yep.
Okay, in March, and what will happen is that it actually physically has to be at the district office by the deadline date. Okay, it doesn't mean it's postmarked that date or that you sent it on that date. It means it physically has to be at the district office by the deadline date. In order for a club to submit the name of a student for the scholarship, which is $1,000 per division, so each division gets one scholarship that it can be awarded from those that they submit. Please be very, very careful to follow all the instructions pretty much to the letter, because a lot of times we will get those applications. I've served on that review committee for the foundation, and we will get the applications. There will be glaring omissions, either in what is actually placed on the application through request or by attachments. In order for a club to submit the name or the application that it chooses to push forward to the district, each of the club members, let me back up. The club must submit $5 per club member at that time. And that is actually based on the previous October's numbers that KI has, not the numbers that the secretary might think or the president might think are there. They're actually the ones that KI has through the reporting system that the secretaries are supposed to do in updating their membership. So it's very important that the secretaries continue to update members as they come on board or leave as well. So you've basically fund this. You and your clubs basically fund this program. Oh, let's see. Again, it is only for students that are going to be attending an Indiana university, college, or school for their higher education. And as I said, the club will receive the application. Now, it may go out to some of the schools in the district as well, but I would ask you not to rely on that. To be honest with you, sometimes it gets lost or gets buried. So it's up to the club to make sure that it gets to the counselors in the school or individual students that are interested in applying as well. Any questions on the scholarship program? One of the questions that comes up a lot is, do you have to be a Key Club member? No, but it helps. And if your parents, if you're a legacy Kiwanis, like you had parents who were Kiwanis members, that helps too. There are scoring sheets. They're going to ask things for extracurricular activities and leadership roles in the community, your community service, and estimate the number of hours, the part-time work, if you work outside, your SAT, your ACT scores, your GPA, and your transcripts as well. So it's very important that all those things be included. We don't want to have to eliminate anyone for not including them. The second program that the Indiana District Foundation has is called the Club Grant Program. And this is a grant that goes to clubs to support projects, to aid projects that benefit people in Indiana. That's very important. And further the objects of Kiwanis. It needs to be a sustainable project. This is not a one-hit wonder. Basically, we want to know that it is a sustainable project that will continue to move forward or exist in the future as well. There are 2 rounds each year currently. The first deadline is December 15th, and the second one is June 15th of each year. Again, those are dates that by which the actual application has to be in the hands of the Indiana District. The award for the December 15th application will be paid out in April of the following year. And the June 15th application deadline will be paid in October of that same year. The beneficiaries need to be youth, elderly, civic or community development, and health and human services based. We do not fund individuals, religious or sectarian organizations, operating deficits, or post-event after the fact. We have refused to pay on a couple of those. We do not fund endowment campaigns, any propaganda influencing legislation, political affairs, or campaigns. We will not fund services, government services such as police, fire, schools, parks, and things that are funded by taxpayer dollars or part of government, but we will support special projects in which the Kiwanis Club would partner with those entities on a special project. But again, the money would not go for the actual police, fire, schools, etc. You need to watch out for making sure that the project addresses a community issue, need, or concern, that there's an innovative approach to what you're trying to do, that it's practical, and addresses, again, a community need, that it's workable and realistic, and that the project can be completed in the assigned time, that there is a financial commitment by the Kiwanis Club. There has to be skin in the game from the Kiwanis Club as well. And that it furthers at least one or more of the objects of Kiwanis, because we are part of Kiwanis. Now, there is a foundation grant review committee that will look at these and make a report to the entire foundation, which will up or down vote on it. And we'll work with the applications. If we see that there's something missing on the application or there was a misunderstanding, we will work with you on that to try and make sure that there aren't any misunderstandings and that everything is completed as well. We're going to ask the number of people being served, the ages of the people being served, the area being served by this grant, what the costs are, what the club is putting into this as well, any other in-kind or financial funding sources and amounts, again, if it is sustainable. So those are the main things to look at. But again, hard copy to the office by the deadlines. Very, very important to remember that. Okay. Then there are actually donor recognition programs as well. The first one is the Eagle Award. This is an award that is purchased to recognize a person who has gone above and beyond in service to the club community or others. It's $250 to the foundation. It is tax deductible. And the individual for whom it was purchased by the club gets an Eagle lapel pin and a certificate as well. The other one is called the McCulloch Awards. For those of you who don't know, McCulloch was our first Kiwanis, Indiana District Governor, and this award is named after him. It is a $1,000 donor gift to the foundation. It can be done in a lump sum or 4 annual installments. The individual receives a framed medallion, a ribbon medallion, and either a lapel pin or a pendant, depending on their choice as well. Are there any questions about any of those things? Some of you already know these. A lot of clubs aren't aware that some of these opportunities exist through the Indiana District. I am going to say very quickly too that the Children's Fund also has grants that are available that can be applied for as well. So it's important that you check the Kiwanis International Children's Foundation to check on what those requirements are and when the deadlines are and what can be covered as well. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Certainly.
Did you say all of the things that you just said, is that on the Kiwanis, Indiana website?
It is, with the applications, the letters that go to the schools, the letters that will be the cover letter coming back to the district with the application and everything as well. All spelled out there for you.
Thank you.
Just wanted to give you an overview. So.
Sharon, I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to sound like one for a second. When there is a project that the club helps fund with or without the Indiana Foundation support, but we love to market ourselves, and we love to have our name on the park, on that canoe and kayak launch, on whatever those things are. And when we do that, please let district office know that our name is on something. And the reason for that is we love to market ourselves and we don't want to restrict putting our name out there. We do want to know where Kiwanis' name is. Right. Because by so doing, we inform the insurance company, because yes, folks, this is America and we have lawyers and we have liability issues. We want to know where our name is. If we can get that information crisp and to our insurance company, it actually reduces the cost of our Kiwanis insurance, because it shows that we are taking it seriously and taking an accurate assessment of where our name is and where our sponsorship is. So thus ends the legal department's commercial.
Well, actually not. I was a paralegal in a previous life. So the other requirement is that you, again, having the Kiwanis name, Kiwanis International, Kiwanis District name associated with the project. Also in celebrating the event that either opens whatever project it is you're doing to the community or anything else like that. We're going to ask that you take pictures and that you get a write-up if there's any media And we're going to ask you to do certain things to help make the community aware of what you're doing. Because as Taka will say, you know, we're one of the best kept secrets out there, and we've got to stop being the best kept secret out there. So.
And who would we notify about an event that we're sponsoring?
Well, if you're just an event that you're not asking for grant dollars for,
right?
I would send that to Tammy.
Okay.
Sorry, Tammy. And then she can share it as well. And you know, you're always able to send it out to other clubs and let them know that you're sponsoring an event and invite them to come be part of it as well.
It's indkiw@indkiw.org.
Right.
Sorry, Tammy.
Go to the next page, Tammy, please. Martin?
We have the Indiana District of Kiwanis supported Riley Hospital for over 100 years. Now, those of you who are really clued in will say, well, just a minute. Riley Hospital's only been around for 98 years. And you'll be correct. Indiana District of Kiwanis started supporting Riley Hospital financially to get the whole thing started 3 or 4 years before it opened. If you have the chance, and clearly the pandemic's got in the way for many of us, but if you have the chance to visit Riley, you will see the Kiwanis helipad. You will see the Kiwanis elevators. You will see the Kiwanis wall. With all the greatest respect to my friends in Kiwanis International across the US and across the world, that isn't Kiwanis International, that is Indiana District of Kiwanis that has done all that. So right now we're in a 4-year campaign, which is called Delivering Hope and Health. We've committed to raising $1 million, $250,000 a year. Sounds less if I say it that way, to establish a maternal fetal medicine specialist endowment. So to establish an endowment that is ongoing in perpetuity in the new wing of Riley, to ensure that every mother and baby in Indiana has the best possible prenatal and postnatal care. I've been fortunate enough to visit the new wing about a month before we all stopped visiting anywhere with the pandemic, but there's just some incredible things that can be done these days, just amazing things. But the important thing about this, we have a very personal story. Our advisor for Key Club, who's just moved on from that role, still a very active Kiwanian, Eric, he had, his wife had a very high risk pregnancy. And she was able to successfully birth the child in Methodist Hospital or IU Hospital, I can't remember. And both mother and baby were at a serious risk. And baby was taken over to Riley because there was no birthing facility at Riley. Children's Hospital, but no birthing facility. While mother stayed in the original hospital. So Eric, coming up from Columbus, Indiana, had to make a decision. Who do I visit first? I have a wife and a baby who are both at serious risk of, let's call it what it is, at serious risk of death. Who do I visit first? That part of what we're doing here means that decision doesn't have to be made again, because mother and baby will be in the same facility. But our part is to establish a maternal fetal medicine specialist and to establish that in perpetuity. It's a huge deal. And clearly in central Indiana, we are a little bit more connected, but boy, oh boy, this facility actually affects all 92 counties in Indiana. Our current district treasurer was a Riley baby, and he was from Ohio. For those of you who know David Cox, he was at huge risk as a little tiny baby. They airlifted him to Riley Hospital. Today, he is our district treasurer and has been for a few years, and preceded me actually as a lieutenant governor in our division. This stuff's real. We're not making this stuff up. So what else do we do? We have a group called the Kids Committee, which is Kiwanis Indirect Support. We plead with you, we beg you, please, you guys as lieutenant governors out there all have a lot on your plate. It would be great if every division also had a Riley advocate. It'd be even better, presidents, if every club had a Riley advocate. The other things we do, the comfort cart, it's amazing. Taka has pushed this thing around so often. It's been difficult since the pandemic. The comfort cart carries candy bars, chewing gum, blankets, toothpaste, shampoo. When a parent comes to Riley, they come with a huge concern. They don't necessarily come with an overnight bag. And the child may have a big issue, or at least an issue that's going to take some time. And so the parent finds that they're kind of stuck at Riley with nothing. The effect that our comfort cart has in just bringing a candy bar, it sounds like nothing, but just bringing a candy bar to say, there are people who care, who are thinking about you. It's a huge deal. And Taka knows more about it than I, Sharon probably too, but we have spoken to people. We very well know our friend Amber Miller, who is an employee at Riley, who has been in this position. The uplifting effect on a parent to know that somebody actually cares and has thought about this, it's just huge. What else do we do? We provide special bicycles, adaptive bicycles. These things are not particularly cheap, but you have kids in your community who can't ride a regular bike, who can't join in with the other kids. We have adaptive bikes that we can provide for kids who can then join in, can ride, can wear the helmet, and go crazy with all the other kids. That's something that we fund. So come on, barriers with requests. Make life difficult for the foundation in determining, oh boy, what can we fund? Don't make it easy so that there's more money than there are products, because we know there are people who need this stuff. Finally, the wall. Among other things at Riley Hospital, you'll see a Kiwanis wall with bricks and names. I'm going to embarrass a couple of people in a moment, but bricks and names. In the current 4-year cycle, 2019 to 2022, we've determined that any club that provides $5,000 to Riley over that period will get a brick in the wall with the club's name. Any individual that provides $3,000 over that period will get their name on a brick in the wall. And that's permanent. And yes, there's somebody here who's already met that. I don't want to say who it is, but his second name's Ogata. That's all I'm going to say. And if you want your name on something permanently at Riley and you don't want to do it as a brick in the wall, you can do that too. The next entry level is to name a hospital room. It's going to cost you $97,000. So clubs, you can get your name there permanently for $5,000. So why not? At the district convention, we're going to have, as we have for many, many years, we're going to have operative checks for Riley, where we read out all clubs and individual contributions to Riley and honor all the people who do that. 102 years. Riley Hospital ranks incredibly high in many individual specific disciplines. I think it ranked like number 2 or 3 behind Philadelphia, which is the most celebrated children's hospital in the United States. It's an incredible facility that we have in Sleepytown, Indianapolis. Naptown has one of the best, one of the top 3 children's hospitals in the world, and we are just excited to support it.
Right, Tammy, wanna go next page? So Youth Protection Week. As you know, we work with kids. So everyone that works kids has to go through training, but actually every club is required to provide a youth protection training. And usually that's in October when our new Kiwanis year starts. And so this year it's Youth Protection Week is October 11th through 15th. And I would encourage you to have a program on youth protection. And for the policies and practices club overview webinar, KI is providing it on these 3 occasions, so you can take that. And also if you go to this URL, you'll also see other PowerPoint presentations and other informations that you could use. Or you could contact us, the district, and we can probably find someone who could visit your club and do the training program. Any questions on the youth protection? Good. All right, next page, please.
Guess that's me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the district secretary for the Indiana district. Taka will be my 9th governor. So just a little overview. The state has 24 lieutenant governors, 24 divisions like he discussed. So we have 24 lieutenant governors on the board. Then we have the immediate past governor, the current governor, and the governor-elect, myself, and the district treasurer. So that makes up the board. The board is completely volunteer. They do get reimbursed for certain travel and such, but the board is completely a volunteer, except for me. I'm the only paid staff person. So if you ever call or email, I am the face or the voice behind who you're emailing or calling. So like I said earlier, if you want to reach out, our website's the indkiw.org, but if you want to email us, it's the indkiw@indkiw.org. And, you know, send me any kind of questions or one thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kiwanis International is obviously for the whole, the world. They house 120 employees there. And I have an office that we lease. So I'm not an employee, but I do sit in the Kiwanis International. And they call it the garden level. I call it the basement. So we have an office there, and that's where we've been this is our 6th year. And so that's where I sit every day. But what's nice and unique is that I sit at the International Building. So if there's ever something that you need material wise or merchandise wise. Maybe you're doing inductions and you need an officer pin or something like that. So feel free to reach out to me. Let's see, deadlines. Well, we have an important deadline coming up for our district convention. Our hotel deadline is this Friday, like in 2 days. And then next Friday, July 30th, will be the registration deadline for DCON. So those are two huge upcoming deadlines for us. We haven't had a district convention in 2 years for obvious reasons. This will be in person only, and we're super excited about it. We're going to catch up from the last 2 years with memorials. So if you've lost any members of your club for the last 2 years, your president, your current president, and your current secretary should have received memorial forms that they can send back to me. And they can either do that through email or they could mail it. And then we are going to celebrate. We're going to have a celebration of life at DCON. So that's one thing. They also received a delegate form. That's something huge that I need back. So we're having a House of Delegates where we elect our next governor-elect, and even this year we have 2 people running for trustee for International Convention. And if anyone doesn't know, we're having International Convention here in Indianapolis next summer and next June. So it's kind of exciting that we have 2 people wanting to be the international trustees, and we will be holding that election at House of Delegates also. But I need a quorum to conduct business. So we're really asking clubs to send their delegates. And so in that packet that I sent out a little while ago, they're delegate forms. And so we're just asking the clubs to either email that back to me or mail it back to me so that we know who your delegates are. In order to have a delegate, you have to have your dues caught up. So I will be sending out a naughty list, if you will, here soon to let people know if your dues haven't been caught up. But we're really pushing to have as many delegates as we can there so that we can conduct business at the House of Delegates on that Saturday. It's August 7th. And so we're super excited about being in person. That's a deadline. Also for officers, and I know many of you have started reporting your officers, but us and KI, Kiwanis International, rely on you and the secretaries to input your officers for the upcoming year. And we use that for lots and lots of reasons. I use it for the directory. Kiwanis International sends, and so do we, certain emails to certain officers with deadlines and important information. So it's really important that you report your officers. So that's a deadline. Kiwanis International will tell you that's May 15th. I would love that to be the case, but I will take them anytime. I mean, earlier the better so that we can plan. And if you have trouble logging on, please get a hold of me or someone at Kiwanis International logging on to do your officer input. If you just can't, or maybe you're, just under certain circumstances that you cannot, just send me a list. I just need their names. It takes me 30 seconds to put their name in, and we'll have them down and it'll be great. So just, if you could send those to me. That's the May-ish timeframe. Resources. So like I said, if you have a question, email, call me. They're not accepting visitors in international right now, but I've been told that the middle of September, they're opening the building. So I can start having middle of September, actually employees are coming back to work into the building, and we can start having visitors. So that's nice. Riley donations, anything that you need, you're able to start visiting the headquarters, which is nice. And then, leadership guides. So there's this awesome book that Kiwanis International publishes. They used to break it out. So it used to be like a president gets a book or a secretary gets a book. Now they've combined it all into one book, and it's called a leadership guide. And I have 800 of them. I am given 500 per club, 5 per club. So I have 800 of those books, and we're actually bringing hundreds of them to, thank you, Martin. We're actually bringing them to the district convention. So if you have someone coming to the convention and you know that they are more than welcome to grab 5 of them and bring them back to your club so you can disperse them amongst your officers. But they're a great resource. I don't know if Talk is going to go into some of the duties of a president, but they outline most of your year, if you will, and also the other officers, the treasurer, what they need to report, secretary, those good things. So if you need those, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to send it to one of you, and then you guys can disperse it. You can get it at convention. You can stop by and see me. I can always meet you outside before September. If it's after September, I can meet, you can come on in. So that is a great resource. We have so many resources. We have membership application forms. We have partnership ones. We have SLPs. I'm bringing all of that convention. You're going to have all kinds of goodies to choose from if you come to convention. So we're really, really excited about pushing a lot of information out that people might not have gotten over the last couple of years. And then Secretary Monthly Report. Martin, the membership trifold. So Secretary Monthly Reports. We rely heavily on these, and actually it's now a distinguished criteria for your club to be distinguished to fill these reports out. So that's important, but more than just being distinguished, it's important to us, it's important to Kiwanis International, and we're just really pleading that your secretary, you also are allowed to, I don't know if people know this, you're allowed an assistant secretary. So maybe you have a secretary, but she's awesome in the meeting, but she's not tech savvy. We can make an assistant secretary, and he or she has all the privileges of the secretary to go in and do all kinds of reports that we need. So please remember that. And then we can actually track, and so can the lieutenant governors, on which secretaries have done the reports and which haven't. So we can kind of update you on like, hey, we haven't seen you in a couple of months. We'd really like for you guys to catch up. I know this is important for, I mean, it tells us all kinds of good stuff. Are you clubbing? Are you doing service projects? So all kinds of things like that with your SLPs. So we really rely heavily on that, and so does Kiwanis International. So those are important. I'm always here for questions. Call me anytime. Stop by after September 9th. Email me. So we have, the office is, I would say, I don't know, the governor has a desk, I have a desk, it's huge, you're welcome anytime. And so, yeah, it's nice to see people starting to come back, so.
Yeah, and right now, only 23% reports the secretary's report regularly. So I really would love you to talk with your secretary and make sure it is reported, because that's how we track, if you have increased your membership, that's how we know. And that's how we want to contact you and congratulate you, and also learn how you did it, because we want to share those information. So please work closely with secretaries to make sure they report the monthly report. Thank you.
I have a question. I haven't, we're 3 hours north, and I really haven't been around the office. Who was just speaking? Who was just talking about the role? Is that Tammy?
Yes.
And Tammy, okay, Tammy. Okay, and you are the district secretary.
Yes.
Okay.
There's actually a me in every state. We get together once a year. It's kind of fun. There's a me in every state. So every state has a district secretary. Some are volunteer, some are paid, some have assistants. They actually have them in other countries too. So there's a me in every state. So
okay, thank you.
I just am lucky enough to sit in the Kiwanis International building. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, let's go to the next page. Martin?
Oh, you get to hear from me again. Last year, we couldn't have a convention. Typically in a year, we have a mid-year conference around March and a convention around August. Last year, we couldn't have a convention. For 2 years, we haven't been able to have a mid-year. So this is the first get-together we've had in over 2 years. August 7th, it's a one-day session. In the past, we've spilled over into Sunday, and we've started from Friday. This is going to be Saturday only. That was kind of forced on us by, we had to make some decisions in February, late February, about what we were going to do, what we were going to plan. The hotels were getting pretty confident and cocky by then and saying, you got to guarantee us rooms, you got to guarantee us meals, and why don't you pay it all up front? We thought that was kind of a bad idea because we didn't know if we could even hold this thing in August. However, we got a great venue. Might not be the most beautiful venue ever, but we've used it before. 502 Event Center in Carmel. It's 502 East Carmel, East Main Street, sorry, in Carmel. So it's a long day on Saturday, but I think you're gonna love it. We got an excellent keynote speaker. We're gonna hear from the Key Club. We're gonna hear from Circle K. We're going to have awards from past Governor Kevin for the previous year, which normally we do at a mid-year, but we didn't have a mid-year. A lot of education events. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be educating. It's going to recognize a lot of people, including the Parade of Checks that I mentioned. And in the evening, we will have our gala dinner. We will retire the old board. We will install the new board. And at that point, I become a lame duck, which is okay. Before that, Tammy mentioned this, and it's important. We have our House of Delegates. We have a couple of decisions to make, not many, but we have to formally install Taka as governor. There is no other candidate. We have only one candidate for governor-elect, which is Zachary Davis, who's been governor of Key Club in the past and been governor of Circle K. And we do have two people who have expressed a desire to be endorsed by the district for Kiwanis International trustee. Now, Kiwanis International rules say that we can only have one at a time from any division. It's kind of, from any district. It's kind of to stop places like California and New York dominating everything. Think of it like the Electoral College or something. And we have two. We can only endorse one. I was fortunate enough to serve as a lieutenant governor under each of them. So we have Steve Ingram from Valparaiso and Judd Roush from Plymouth, both past governors, and we have to make a decision with our House of Delegates as to which one we are going to endorse. We actually have an option to endorse neither one, but I got to tell you, with International Convention being in Indianapolis in the following year, which is where trustees will be elected, it is not a level playing field for the entire world. Frankly, a candidate from Indiana has a heck of a chance of being elected. So it's kind of a big deal. Two people who I served under each of them as governor. So what more can I say? Please, let's make sure that we do have a quorum, 1/3 of clubs represented for that House of Delegates. We're also going to do the Riley Parade of Checks, as I mentioned before. And it's a great way to connect with other club members, with people you haven't met before. I'm just going to tell this story really quickly. 10 years ago, I'd been a member for a couple of years, and our one and only remaining charter member from my club in Cicero said, "Hey, I got a couple of tickets. You should come to this mid-year." And I went, "What the heck's mid-year?" So I showed up at this event, and I met a guy there who was a brand new member called Brent Harrison, just recently retired as a lieutenant colonel in the United States Marines. Well, one of those people saw what was going on, connected the dots, and became treasurer of our club for 2 or 3 years, and then president of our club. That was Brent. The other one became secretary of the club for 3 years, became president for a couple of years, and eventually became lieutenant governor, and for better or worse, became governor of the District of Indiana, that's me. The power of what you see at convention and the way, and I'm stealing from a past governor here, the way that it helps you connect the dots to see this is really what we can all do together is remarkable. That's what's going on. You can sort of tell I'm fired up about it. It's going to be a big day. It's going to be a full day. It ain't going to be a boring day, I can tell you that.
I'm going to go to the next page, Tim. Yep.
The schedule. Registration. We do accept registration for people who haven't registered ahead of time, but we really like you to register online, please. And we'll have breakfast, and then we get into our keynote speaker, who's called Jason F. Wright. He's going to inspire you. He's going to lift you up, I can tell you. We have education sessions about a whole variety of things in the, as one of my colleagues calls it, the Kiwanis-sphere. And then we'll have the family lunch, at which point we have an opportunity to hear from Circle K, from Key Club. We also will have somebody representing Builders Club and K Kids. And we will have awards from Kevin's period from the year before. And we will have our parade of checks. Back into an education session, we're going to talk about Riley. We're going to hear from some really top people in Riley Foundation, including the president of Riley Foundation. And then, as I mentioned, at 4:30, we get to our House of Delegates, which is maybe a little less exciting, but pretty important, where we get to make our elections. At 6:30, we have our gala dinner celebration banquet, and we're going to retire the old board. They may get a funky little gift from the outgoing governor, you never know. And we're going to install the new board. At that point, and you may be grateful for this, the outgoing governor gets to shut up and only hear from the incoming governor. We are going to have some entertainment at that event. I'd love to tell you who, but this is a post-pandemic thing. Man alive. Hotels, bands, entertainers, they're in demand all of a sudden. And we're fighting that one a bit, but we're gonna figure it. We have options. That's the schedule. Also in the lunchtime, we will have the recognition of our fallen members, recognizing and honoring their lives, their commitment to Kiwanis, their commitment to their families and to the world. That's what's going on at DCOM.
And also we'll have some tables with lots of marketing materials that you can pick. So make sure you check those materials too.
Yeah, don't come by plane, come by car so you can take those things home.
Any questions? Or comments?
Governor-elect Taka, this is President Kiwanis North Indianapolis. I have a question as far as the menus that we saw tonight. Will they be available to be sent out?
We recorded this, so we are planning to put it on the web.
Thank you.
Anything else? Hey, Rodney, didn't see you.
You too, Taka. It's great to join. Sorry I got in late, but I'll pass it on to Michael. Michael will be the new president. He's having surgery today. That's why he's not here.
Okay.
Having his gallbladder removed.
All right, so I think everybody's good. All right, well, thank you so much for being here and spending time with us. And I hope I'll see you, everybody, at the DCOM. So
looking forward to it.
Good night.
Thank you, Taka.
Thank you.
Register
Thank
now,
you.
Vicon, register now.
Yep.
Thank
Good
you.
point.